Do you often see people sketching in public? Why did we find it so spontaneous to draw when we were children, but as adults, making art in a public place where people can actually see us can feel so awkward and embarrassing? So much so that we sometimes deny ourselves something we'd really love to do. I've been travelling, I've had my sketchbook with me, I've found the perfect place to sit, and then I've thought, no, I can't possibly sit here and start drawing. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? Nobody is asking us to perform. Nobody has asked us to see the drawing. And yet suddenly opening a sketchbook in public can feel like standing on a stage, or like we're somehow engaging in a childish activity that makes us feel silly. Have you ever felt that way? Sketchbooks have become a central part of my life over the past few years. Daily messy sketches and more precious watercolour sketchbooks with more finished paintings. Especially when travelling, I carry them wherever I go, and whatever I am able to capture brings back the memory, the atmosphere, the joy of the moment much more vividly than any photograph ever could. And yet there have been so many times when I've had one with me and still haven't taken it out. Not because I didn't have anything to draw, not because I didn't have the time, but because people were there and I was worried that someone might want to have a peek and expect that since I was so unafraid of making art in public, there would be some masterpiece on my page, instead of, let's face it, sometimes just a bunch of wobbly scribbles. I used to feel embarrassed sketching in public. Now I genuinely don't care. So what changed? Through experience, I've found out that people will rarely, if ever, come up to you and ask to see what you're doing. Interestingly, that can actually happen more easily when you're taking photographs. It hasn't happened to me personally, but it has happened to several people I know. Even when they were simply taking a picture of a building or a car, some people thought they were photographing something suspicious, perhaps them, perhaps their property, or even something they thought might be illegal, and wanted the photo deleted. And that tells you something, that people are wrapped up in their own world and their own worries, and they're generally not as interested in what we're doing as we imagine they are. If what you're doing has nothing to do with them, why would they be? Which brings me to another question. What if you're sketching people? Will they be annoyed? I've actually found that some of the easiest places to sketch in are pubs, cafés, and restaurants. You have time to sit down, and even if the people that are with you are not sketching or painting, you can do it just fine because they'll be eating and doing their own thing. They're usually very busy people in these places and they're absorbed in conversation, and you have all these wonderful opportunities to sketch people without making a big thing of it. And I'm not particularly trying to get a likeness here. I'll look up, take a very quick glance, look back down and try to capture the curve of the head, the bend of an elbow, an interesting angle or an angular pose. I'm trying to capture the atmosphere more than the person. I work quickly and sometimes I even add things that aren't actually there. So for all they know, they might think I'm taking notes. And I think something else has changed too. I no longer look hesitant. I have a purpose. I sit down, I open my sketchbook and I start drawing. And somehow I think that makes people less curious about what I'm doing. When you're sitting there looking nervous, peeking around, half opening the sketchbook, wondering who's watching, you feel like you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. And if somebody does ever come up to you and you don't feel comfortable showing them what you're doing, you can simply slowly close the sketchbook. You're not trapped and you don't owe anybody a look at your page. Something I also do is add in images that are not actually the reflection of the reality in that moment. I might sketch the same person several times in different poses, and if they came up and actually saw what I was drawing, they might not even know that it was them. Quick tip, if you have kids, buy them a sketchbook, get them to bring it along. Not only will it get them into the habit of making art past early childhood, but it will keep them off their screens. And this footage shows me in action. It was actually the most satisfying page from this little pub in Scotland. It ended up looking nothing like what I usually do, but I noticed so many interesting things about it. It will remind me of that moment forever and these men talking about fishing salmon. What I really love about this spread are the shapes. I totally exaggerated the bulge in the man's belly and the almost stylized hand turning into a sort of Pavarotti character. I just like how everything fits together, the colour, the background, and the person in the foreground gives the drawing dimension. These quick sketches will help you dive deep into different styles and discover new things about yourself as an artist. They offer so much freedom, and to me they are precious because they tell the story of my life in a way just like your own sketchbook can tell the story of yours. Also, you don't always have to draw what's in front of you there and then. You can take a picture and sketch it later, or you can do half and half and start drawing it and painting on the spot and then finish off from the photo reference later. Or sometimes I do that too, just sketch something you see on Pinterest if you're feeling uninspired and you just want to get that practice in. The core of it is to bring your sketchbook into the world with you to make art amongst people. This is what we do in our Patreon community online. We develop a sketchbook habit by getting together to co-sketch every Tuesday from a variety of themes and ideas and subjects. This is what has made me really fall in love with sketchbooking, whether it's for drawing or painting with watercolour. Of course, if you'd like to join us, all levels, absolutely all levels, are welcome. I will leave the link below with other useful information like my newsletter and my classes. And by subscribing to my newsletter, you'd be advised when free events are coming up, starting with a challenge this September. Leaving you with the image of this lovely Highland cow. I hope that if you came across this video, it has given you some encouragement if you needed it. Please do let me know in the comments, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.
Hello. Hello.